confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County in the last 24 hours is 742, with 16 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 6 additional cases were reported with no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Christine Lee. It's Wednesday, October 13th. Public health officials in LA County continue to track the impact of COVID-19 on expecting and new moms. As of October 5th, there were 13,161 pregnant women in LA County. During the same time, a dozen pregnant women who tested positive for COVID-19 passed away. Public health officials say, although not common, women infected during their pregnancy can pass on the coronavirus to their newborn babies. Among nearly 13,000 births, 63 infants tested positive for COVID-19. The majority, 76% of pregnant women who tested positive, are Latinas. Research has shown that pregnant people who get COVID-19 are more likely to get severely ill compared to non-pregnant people. They're also more likely to experience pregnancy complications. A number of health agencies recommend that pregnant and lactating women get vaccinated. Studies show vaccines are safe in all stages of pregnancy and do not cause any fertility problems. And breastfeeding people who got Pfizer or Moderna vaccines are shown to have antibodies in their breast milk, which could help protect their babies. This has not been seen with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Speaking of Moderna and J&J vaccines, an advisory board at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is planning to review the data for their booster shots tomorrow and Friday. But before they do, a different group of FDA scientists say Moderna has not met all of the agency's criteria to support the use of its COVID-19 booster doses, and that's possibly because the efficacy of its first 2 shots remains strong. These FDA staff members note the data from Moderna's vaccine shows that a booster does increase protective antibodies, but the difference in antibody levels before and after the shot was not wide enough, especially in those whose levels remained high. These findings were released ahead of tomorrow's meeting, where the FDA's outside expert advisors will specifically discuss booster doses of the vaccine. The FDA typically follows the advice of its experts, but it doesn't have to do so. Meanwhile, Moderna is seeking authorization for a 50 microgram booster dose, half the strength of the original vaccine, which is given in 2 shots about 4 weeks apart. The company says cutting the dose in half increases protection against the coronavirus while helping the worldwide COVID-19 vaccine supply. Moderna officials are hoping to clear the booster soon for adults 65 years and older and those at higher risk for getting COVID-19. A record 4.3 million people quit their jobs in August. That's almost 3% of the U.S. workforce, the highest quit rate since late 2000, when the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics began the Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey, or JOLTS. The number of workers who left rose by 242,000 from July. This comes as Americans demand higher pay, better working conditions, and more flexible arrangements. Food services, wholesale trade, and state and local government education are sectors highly affected by this trend. Economists say if you're unhappy with your job or want a raise, it's pretty easy to find new work opportunities in this current environment. Companies nationwide continue to struggle with a serious worker shortage. Job openings remained very high at the end of August at 10.4 million. The summer was especially bad. The number of job openings in July was even higher at 11.1 million, a record high since JOLTS began reporting in 2000. Some economists believe this may be the beginning of the, quote, golden age for the American worker, where they're now confident of their bargaining power and can obtain a reasonable wage as well as have influence over working conditions. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a new study that shows a staggering number of children lost a caregiver to COVID-19. It found more than 140,000 children in the U.S. lost a loved one that cares for them due to the pandemic. California is among the 3 states with the highest number of children facing the death of a primary caregiver, followed by Texas, then New York. The study indicates that about 1 in 500 children in the country experienced a COVID-19 related orphanhood or death of a grandparent who may have been a caregiver. American Indian and Alaska Native children were the most impacted, followed by Black and Hispanic children. Overall, the study found that children of racial and ethnic minorities accounted for 65% of children who lost a primary caregiver to the virus. According to the National Institutes of Health, an estimated 1.5 million children worldwide lost at least one caregiver to COVID-19 during the first 14 months of the pandemic. The Port of Los Angeles will soon become a 24-hour, 7-days-a-week operation thanks to the help of the Biden administration. The White House announced they've helped broker an agreement as part of an effort to relieve the supply chain backlog and help move stranded container ships that are driving prices higher for U.S. consumers. President Biden said today that the supply chain issue has hampered the economic recovery from the coronavirus pandemic. Commitments by the LA port operators, longshoremen, and several of the country's largest retailers such as Walmart, FedEx, and UPS hope to relieve some of the backlog, making it easier for the port to operate around the clock. Long Beach has already been operating for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now for the past 3 weeks. According to the Marine Exchange of Southern California, the Port of LA and Long Beach account for 40% of all shipping containers entering into the U.S. As of Monday, there are 62 ships berthed at the two ports and 81 ships waiting to dock and unload. The FDA authorized the first electronic cigarettes in the U.S. in a move to help smokers quit. The agency authorized the marketing of 3 new tobacco products, saying the R.J. Reynolds vaping products can benefit adult smokers by assisting them to curb their unhealthy habits. FDA officials say data showed the Vuse e-cigarettes help smokers to either quit or significantly reduce their use of cigarettes, which is the leading preventable cause of death in the country. Tuesday's first-of-a-kind decision is part of a sweeping effort by the FDA to bring scientific scrutiny to the multi-billion-dollar vaping industry after years of delay. Last month, the agency said it rejected applications for more than 1 million e-cigarettes and related products, mainly due to their potential appeal to underage teens. The FDA's decision only applies to Vuse's refillable solo power device and its tobacco-flavored nicotine cartridges. The agency said it rejected 10 other requests from the company for other flavored products. FDA officials are still reviewing the company's request to sell a menthol-flavored nicotine formula. Mitch Zeller, the director of the FDA's Tobacco Center, says the authorizations are an important step toward ensuring all new tobacco products undergo the FDA's robust scientific pre-market evaluation. The manufacturer's data demonstrates its tobacco-flavored products could benefit addicted adult smokers who switch to these products, either completely or with a significant reduction in cigarette consumption. The 101 freeway remains shut down and evacuation orders are still in place as the Alisal fire spreads more than 14,500 acres along the coast of Santa Barbara County. The fire started Monday, and as you can imagine, this created a lot of backup on the roadways. The California Highway Patrol posted pictures of the major traffic jam in the area yesterday, warning drivers of long delays. Santa Barbara County fire officials say crews worked overnight to provide structure defense, strengthen existing control lines, and implement new ones. The fire erupted on a ridge south of Solvang. Wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour pushed the fire over the summit and forced the 101 to close indefinitely between Pacific Coast Highway at Gaviota State Park and Cathedral Oaks Road in Goleta. A virtual incident dashboard is up for those wanting to monitor the fire, which was 5% contained at last check. For the latest information, log on to readysbc.org/Alisal-fire. Investigators are learning more about the possible source behind the foul odor that has been lingering in Carson for more than a week. The LA County Department of Public Works partnered with a number of agencies, including the county's fire and public health departments, as well as the South Coast Air Quality Management District, to study the Dominguez Channel. Experts believe the smell is caused by organic waste material drying out after exposure to the sun during low tide. They say this process is likely causing decay, releasing hydrogen sulfide, and the organics and plankton that are washed in from the tide are possibly adding to the smell. Residents in the area reported feeling dizzy and nauseated. They also experienced soreness in the eyes and throat. Investigators tested the levels of hydrogen sulfide in the air and say these are short-term reversible symptoms. They add that the current conditions are not expected to cause irreversible effects. Public health officials say the odors are considered a public nuisance and encourage the public to continue calling AQMD to report odors. That number is 1-800-CUT-SMOG or 1-800-288-7664. The Torrance City Council met last night to conduct city business. Several proclamations were read, including October as Cybersecurity Awareness Month, National Arts and Humanities Month, Italian American Heritage Month, Paint the Town Purple Month, and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. City Council accepted and appropriated a $25,000 donation from Sarah's Regis Group for the Torrance Temporary Housing Program. Council also approved revisions to the proposed fiscal year 2021 to 2022 of the fiscal years 2021 through 2023's adopted biennial budget and capital improvement plan. They also awarded a consulting services agreement for strategic communication and public education services for a potential sales tax ballot measure. These items and much more were discussed. Replays of the meeting can be seen here on our channel, online, and on the city's social media platforms. You can also find the full agenda at torranceca.gov. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community, pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Last night, the Torrance City Council also proclaimed October 23rd as Make a Difference Day in Torrance. The public is invited to participate in the nation's largest community service day locally at the Madrona Marsh Preserve and Nature Center. On Saturday the 23rd, community members are invited to come out in the morning to take part in habitat enhancement and preservation efforts by planting native plants. The Madrona Marsh has been open to the public through the pandemic, providing a peaceful scenery during these difficult times. It also resumed its Nature Storytime program, a great way for 3 to 5-year-olds to learn about the importance of nature through stories, science activities, games, and hands-on crafts. The next Nature Storytime is tomorrow, October 14th at 10:30 a.m. For questions about either event, you can call 310-782-3989. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 Today. We'll see you back here tomorrow as Bella Shaw brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.